My good friend Mike Koenigs is up next, and I guess I could read his formal bio and impress you with all the companies he's worked for and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, if you look at the successful online marketers, so people, you guys ever hear of Stompernet by any chance? Yeah, Stompernet. Anyway, Mike's they're one of the people on the team. And anyway, Mike, who are some of the major corporate? Because I don't have your bio sitting from. Who are some of the big companies that you've done the work for?
20th Century Fox, Mazda, Carlson Companies.
Small little companies.
Little ones.
So anyway, Mike has been a TV producer, infomercial producer. I literally, when I tell you on my speed dial, he is one of those people that for any technology item, I bought my Mac because of him. He shows me how to use my iPhone. He is literally, he's like 2 or 3 steps ahead with all the technology curve. It's absolutely amazing. But what he's going to talk to you about, in my opinion, is probably one of the more important things, because we're in the age of video, in the age of YouTube. And he's going to show you some things with video that will literally revolutionize some of your businesses. I guarantee it. It will transform it. And the nice thing is, all you got to do is listen to what he has to say and just go implement the ideas. It's that simple and that easy. So he is a thought leader amongst thought leaders, and you'll see why I invited him. So, Mike, why don't you come on up? And let's give him a standing ovation to make him feel warm.
Hey, yeah.
Come on, we can do better than that. Come on, a little better than that. Remember yesterday I was talking about somebody who was able to rank for my personal name after just 30 minutes? So what I wanted to finish with you is, remember I went around the room and asked you what your core businesses were? Well, if you look on Google and Yahoo, someone is searching for your product and service right now. And my question is your name and is your website coming up top? If someone had bank-owned REOs, someone's looking for that stuff, right? Someone's looking for a life coach right now. And what he's going to share with you is how you can come up on that first page of Google, the first page of Yahoo. And when you have 100 visitors visit your website, how you can get a much higher conversion of them becoming your customer. So he's got some powerful stuff. So I'm just appreciative of you being here.
Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it. All right. Well, let's say a big round of applause for Mr. Larry Benet. Thank you, Larry. Larry's had a huge impact in my life, but he gives me 90 minutes, so I'm not going to talk about how great he is to you guys. I'll have him do that for him. But well, thanks for having me today. It's really nice being here, and I love LA. And I should probably tell you really fast, what are we going to talk about? Well, Larry did talk about it, but really my outcome, my goal for you today is have you understand ultimately how to get traffic, leads, qualified visitors to your website really, really fast and easily. And also understand how to get those people to find your stuff. Because the hardest thing for most of us in life is getting started and getting our heads around some basic concepts, some really basic marketing concepts. So I'm going to start with some really basic 101 stuff and get through to some more advanced things. I'll move quickly. I'll let you know that the presentation will be available afterwards if you want it. All you need to do is just get me a card, and I'll make sure I follow up with you. But what I will talk about, in my opinion, is the most powerful traffic building strategy online, and it is about how to drive unlimited free traffic to any website. I know that sounds like a big thing, but I promise you, when you're done, you will get what this is about. It's that simple. It's not a hard concept to understand. So if it's okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me so you understand my background, but I'll make it fast, I promise. So first of all, I'm a dad, and I'm a husband, and I was a nerd growing up. So back before it was cool to be a geek, I was one of those guys. So I got beat up a lot growing up, and I have nothing more than a high school education. So I'm kind of the classic, if I can do it, you can do it too. I am a self-taught programmer. The one thing I did have a passion for growing up were 2 things. I loved junk mail. I didn't realize it at the time, but I loved marketing. And I used to read letters. And do you remember bingo cards in the back of magazines years ago? You'd circle the numbers and you get junk mail. I used to take out a card out of every magazine and circle every single number. So I cost someone a lot of money. And my mom would be pissed because we'd have to go up to the post office to get a rubber-banded pile of crap this big. And I just read that constantly. And my mom was like, why don't you just do your homework? I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me, Mom, but I love reading junk mail. I didn't know what marketing was growing up, but now I do, of course. But it took me 20 years to figure out what my ailment was. But what it did eventually turn into is I loved gadgets. And my parents were not, they didn't think a microwave was a positive thing to have in a home or a computer. So I had to really fight to get my first PC. And I learned some of my first electronics from buying an analog pinball machine. You remember the old ding, 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 ding? Well, I was completely consumed by opening it up, looking at the relays, and to me, that was music. It was like ballet. So it's the clackety-clack of solenoids and stuff like that. So if you have a kid who loves video games and stuff like that, it doesn't mean they're going to be a loser forever, all right? But I started a little company called, I know that has a little impact for some of you here, but I started a little company called Digital Cafe. It was one of the first electronic marketing agencies, and we made video games for companies and screensavers before the internet existed. So we promoted movies, and that's how I started working with 20th Century Fox and Sony. So here I am, just a Minnesota kid, and almost we got attention from Hollywood. So it's pretty nice how I can start from a little dinky town. I grew up in a town called Eagle Lake, Minnesota, population 763. So here I am always hanging out with the Hollywood guys, but that eventually ran into making movies. I did make a feature film that got distributed by Warner Brothers a few years ago. I did that after I sold the company. I never made all the money back, I must say, and that led into internet marketing, which I can't explain. It's sort of like the direct marketing junk mail thing, but I love it. It's a lot of fun to be connected with a lot of really interesting, odd people with weird backgrounds who can make $1 million in 48 hours or $5 million in 48 hours. And some of my best friends are those guys. If you know Frank Kern, for example, you see his name pop up. He's one of my best friends, and he's one of these guys who just has interesting ideas, a high school education, and he's figured out how to tap into what people desire and provide information that people want to buy and pay for. And I promise all this will make sense soon. I'll bring it all back to you. Okay, keep on moving along. So I made a little product called the Infomercial Toolkit, a new service called Traffic Geyser. It's been around 2 years. Another service called Mixiv. And I've got 2 more companies I'll launch before the end of 2008. And really what this all comes down to is the humanitarian work, because my wife has a foundation. She does work in Uganda. And if it's okay, I'm going to play a short little video for you that kind of explains what I think this whole game is all about, because at the end of the day, we'll all be dead soon. And really, it's about what do you leave behind and whose lives do you touch, especially those who don't know, about what's possible. So here you go. Philanthropists alive have also been very wealthy in general. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks. So I always have to try really hard not to cry during this whenever I present this, because, we've, I'm not going to do it. Well, the bottom line is your life changes when you see people, dying before you. So I can't say anything more without just bawling up here. So.
It's okay. I was crying yesterday. You can cry today.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you for the break. But that is, I think at the end of the day, we have a responsibility in this country. In my opinion, it is unforgivable not to tap into the immense wealth that is surrounding us. It's unforgivable. You think about how many people have died to build this country. No matter whether or not we agree on the political situation, everything else, the idea of what this place is remarkable. And there is no reason why every one of us can't tap into this amazing wealth and funnel it through a gift that we all have to share and then give it back on many, many levels of magnitude. And if there's anything else that I have to say today, it's that. Now, I happen to have found a couple little tools and secrets that have helped me accomplish that. My wife does not have to do anything except her foundation now. And you know, that video was edited by our friends who produced The Secret. They become good friends of ours. It's because of the foundation. She just met with the gentleman who runs all of Madonna's foundations yesterday up here in LA. It's because of her foundation. Now there's a group, Lifetime Network wants to make a made-for-TV movie about her because of the foundation. So it's amazing what giving back actually gives you. You know, that doesn't, you know, it's an interesting thing. Okay, so moving right along. So I'm going to share with you, thank you. Thank you, Larry. So I will show you one of the great things that doing this internet marketing thing gives you, which is, that's my new studio I just built. After selling Digital Cafe, I bought the name back and I got my logo back and I built one. It's a 1950s diner with all kinds of high definition sets, and if it's okay, I'll play a little bit of a walkthrough video so you can kind of see it. Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Hi everyone, this is Mike Koenigs, and I'm sitting inside the Digital Cafe. This is actually a dream come true for me because in 1991 I started a company called Digital Cafe. It was a marketing agency back in St. Paul, Minneapolis. I sold it with my business partner Dean Hires 9 years later to a large advertising agency, and 8 years later I managed to buy the name back, the trademarks, etc., etc. And here's our old folder from years ago. But I'll tell you why this is important to you, because this is a very fancy high-tech studio that, believe it or not, I built for less than $30,000, including all the custom furniture and the equipment you're about to see, and multiple sets. It has 4 high-definition camcorders, or cameras. They're professional quality. We've got a fancy video switcher, and you're going to see a really cool new whiteboard technology that is very new and very cool. If you remember Minority Report, it's kind of like that. You can move objects around in real time. But we've got green screen, full body green screen, all sorts of fancy stuff that'll be very useful, and you're going to learn a lot because we're going to be recreating the infomercial toolkit inside this facility very soon. And what's also important is you're going to learn from being inside the studio different ways that you're going to be able to stay in touch with and build your business and create really high quality relationships with your list, with business associates, business partners, affiliates, or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to walk you through the entire place here. Take a look around. All right, well, the next set we're in right now is kind of I call it my Oprah set, even though it's got a brick background, but you'll see soon that I can transform this very easily. Now, we opened up in the switcher station just a moment ago. This is a 47-inch display. You can see I've got kind of a fake brick background, but the cool thing is I've got theatrical curtains, so we can instantly transform this into a Charlie Rose set. And check this out. These are curtains. I can easily flip these here. They Velcro together. And voila, instant cool set. So if we sit back down, you'll see that this thing has a completely different feel to it. So we, of course, can move around, put in different chairs, lay a different carpet if we want to, and we can display any kind of graphics we want here to create an effect sort of like a Donnie Deutsch as well. So that's the objective behind this set. Okay, the next super awesome thing is this Hitachi Starboard. It's a digital whiteboard that you can draw on just by, you know, like any whiteboard.
But
I'm sorry you
unlike
can't
a normal
see the
whiteboard, it's
graphics,
smart.
but,
You're not using a pen, a stinky pen. It actually recognizes objects. So I can draw a circle, for example. It'll recognize the circle. I can draw a square. It'll recognize the square. I can change colors and draw, let's say, a triangle. And I can also draw arrows. And then I can grab these objects and I can move them around. All right? Now you can just imagine all the super cool things you can do from an educational point of view. But here's what I really like about this thing. Some of the features I haven't even figured out yet, but right above me is the projector. It's actually projecting this full 80-inch display on what amounts to be a touch screen surface. That there you can see I can resize objects too, but it's only about a foot away from the screen. And it leaves very little shadow. So it gives me the ability to display presentations of any sort. I can display a keynote presentation here or a PowerPoint presentation. Click through, record what's going on, and I'll show that to you right now. I'm bringing up my keynote.
Right now, I'll just advance it a little bit and I'll show you the last part. That's where basically you can record whatever you see on the screen.
Now in any studio situation, flexibility is key. And the way this studio was built, I included a lot of extra features. Now you've seen the digital cafe set, you've seen the Donnie Deutsch / Charlie Rose set. We also have some curtains. What's really cool is all these curtains do what curtains do. They open up. So I can change the look of the studio very rapidly and go from black to blue. Now these haven't been steam cleaned yet because this thing's so new, but if I open this up from either side, there's plenty to go around. But here is where the green screen is. Now everything was built so I can actually set up a mini studio. I can have an audience sitting behind me. But this just rolls down to create instant chroma key. So in a moment, you're going to see me do some chroma key work here. Full body, full screen, so I can walk onto a complete virtual set. All right, so here we are in full chroma key green. And of course I can change my background to anything we want. Cool, stupid, whatever we want to do.
I hate chihuahuas. I hate them.
This gives you infinite flexibility because we can change to any set imaginable and make it look like I'm out in the desert, maybe in a cold environment, right on a beach. Doesn't matter what it is. We've got it all here, and it's completely virtual. So let's move on, and I'm going to show you a couple other little things, including my office set. Come on. All right, so this is master control. This is where all the thinking gets done. And if you look kind of behind the scenes, you'll see I've got a bunch of monitors, run most of my stuff off of a laptop, and below me is the Mac Pro that we use for editing. So one of the other things that I have in here that I really, really like, although it's not as fancy as the Hitachi Starboard, it's another digital whiteboard. And what I can do is draw here, and while I'm drawing, you can see that the screen is updating at the same time. So this is how
It's about 600
I come
bucks.
up with ideas and document them. And I also use ScreenFlow with that along with the camera, so I'm able to record both simultaneously and send it to my team. I'm also able to conduct any kind of interviews in here with microphones, and I've got enough for a second microphone if we're going to record, say, a teleseminar, a teleconference, or something like that. And over here is the main Mac, and I can switch over because I've got a couple PCs under the table too. But in an environment, let's say, where I need to record a business presentation, I've got the bookcase behind here to create a nice business set. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the machine room where the editing and the switcher is located along with the disk duplication system. So let's check that out. Oh, don't start drinking until noon around here. Well, this is the machine room, and as you'll see, we've got basic office stuff, the refrigerator. This is an editing workstation. And over here is our fancy Sony Anycast station. This is actually a very cool production switcher. The camera out in the main room is still here, and on the other side of the window, which is right now black screened, is where our logo is. So earlier when you were looking at the big studio, it's right outside here, so the editor can actually be switching and monitoring the entire program from within here. It's a pretty cool little added feature. So we just keep this here so on the other side you don't see any reflections. And then over here we've got storage, all sorts of cables and everything is nicely organized, the duplication system so we can make short-run CDs and DVDs if we need to. And over here we've got DVD duplicators for doing real-time production. So while a show is being switched, it actually eliminates the need to do post-production, or at least drastically reduces it, and we can be making some DVD masters in real time. So that, for the most part, is the end of the walkthrough. I hope you had a good time, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you all kinds of great productions and shows in Digital Cafe real soon. Thanks for visiting.
Go. So here's why I wanted you to see that, because I believe the future of media lies in the hands of all of us ordinary people, okay? The days of the fat old white man standing between you and the people is dead and over, okay? Distribution's completely changed, and I'll spend some more time on that and explain what I mean when I say it. But it is now possible with nothing more than a little flip camera to be able to broadcast your message to what is close to 3 billion people worldwide, the connected world, okay? And again, I'll spend some more time on that. But this is obviously a bigger version of that, but it wasn't long ago, like 5 years ago, that much gear, that at the end of the day, I've got less than 100 grand in that thing. Would have cost me $1.5 million, and I would have needed 4 people to manage it. Not to mention the engineers and all the other people. Now I can pretty much do it with one person. I can make a show in a day, be broadcasting it worldwide with 0 costs, okay? And the real question is, how do you take these ideas that all of us have in our heads and be able to share that with the world and drive it back to making us money, okay? How do you get traffic? And that's what I'm going to share with you today. But I have to ask a few questions. How many of you don't have a website? Okay? It's a good chunk of you. How many of you don't know what a podcast is? Okay. And how many haven't made your first $1 online yet? Okay. Number of you. All right. And how many of you use video on your websites right now? Okay. It's kind of the rest of you, which is great. And how many of you, this is a rhetorical question, how many of you need more traffic, leads, and sales? And if you're not raising your hand right now, you're lying to me. All right. So that's where we get to this slide. Here's what I got for you today. Number one, I'm going to share something with you. I call it my 10 by 10 by 4 market domination formula. It's something I've just created. And it's one of these things that's so stupid simple, you'll wonder why you haven't thought about it yourself, but it really is. It solves the problem of what's between you and the universe of prospects who needs to know about what you have to share. What you have to sell, whether it's your product, your service, or someone else's, okay? And best of all, this little thing is guaranteed to produce visibility and rankings for any website. It is so stupid simple, it'll blow you away, and I'll share that with you in the back of the room. So, how to build a list quickly that loves you and buys your stuff or the stuff you recommend. Because that's really what this game is ultimately about. It's building a relationship. Why did I build Digital Cafe? So I can produce shows and communicate with as many people as I can, as affordably as possible, who will hopefully say, that Mike guy's all right. I kind of like him, like his stuff. I'll try out one of his things, and then if they like it, they'll buy the rest of them, okay? That's really what business is all about. It's not about getting someone's money. It's about having a relationship and providing value. So, and this is the most important thing. How many people like to say, I hate to sell? Okay?
I used to.
All right, good. Someone said I used to. All right. And really, I don't like the idea of selling, but I love to share ideas. I love to give people education. I love to see people when they light up and get something and then use it and make a change in their lives. Okay? I'd say most of us like that. It's pretty common anyway. So sell without selling. And it's about how do you communicate information very quickly and rapidly to a huge audience. So I have some more. I'm going to give you the formula that I've used myself to make a fortune online, and this is another one of those things you don't need any experience to make it work for you. Again, I know that sounds like a whole bunch of BS and hype, but it's true, and I'll prove it to you, okay? And how to distribute your message online in minutes, fast and cheap. It's something every one of us needs. How to sell yourself with video, even though I just said sell yourself without selling. And the cheapest, fastest, easiest way to get started. Anyone interested in that?
Yes.
All right, okay. All right, so first of all, a couple of universal marketing truths. That is, it all comes down to what's in here, and the sooner you connect with that, your life changes. So don't do crap you hate to do. It doesn't serve you, doesn't serve your family, doesn't serve the people you think you're serving while you're doing it, makes you and everyone else miserable, and you'll age too quickly and be unhealthy too quickly, all right? I know it's easier said than done. Shorten the distance between the idea and getting paid. How do you like that one? Because we all have lots of ideas, and eventually they fade out. So the deal is, how quickly can you take action? And my favorite thing I've ever done is I came up with an idea, and I created a product, and I was selling it and made money in less than 24 hours. That to me is the coolest thing ever. Now, I don't take the discipline every single day to do that, but that's one of my goals. It's one of the reasons why I built Digital Cafe. It's because now what used to take 2 weeks I can do in a day. Okay? I created a virtual playroom that I absolutely love to be in. I feel like I'm 5 again. You know? How do you reach? I'm going to explain that in just a moment. The question from Leah was, how do you reach all these people? That's a great question. Although I know when people say that's a great question, I hate that. Okay, there's always people who will do it for you. Another universal truth, okay? Right now we have a depressed job market. Now I happen to be making more money than I've ever made before, and it's growing all the time. And I don't know, are any of you students of Dan Kennedy? Okay? If you aren't, you should be. Highly, highly recommend subscribing to his letter. I personally think he's a bit of an A followed with a hole, but that's just the hard edge he takes on. He's a brilliant guy, and his material is remarkable, and for $100 you can buy all of his books. It's pretty much all the marketing stuff you'll ever need. I highly recommend just order his books. He has the No BS series. Just pick them up. They're fantastic. It's dankennedy.com. Dan Kennedy, yeah, ultimate sales letter, ultimate marketing plan, and all of his No BS books. So there's always people who will do it for you. Why did I say that? Because right now, when I put together an ad and I put it on Craigslist, I usually get 50 to 80 people responding to the list, and about half of them are qualified to do what I ask them to do. And they'll work pretty cheap. Okay? That's because they haven't figured out leverage for themselves personally. That's my personal opinion. And that is the secret to making money. It's the McDonald's model. It's pss, 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 pss. Do that 1 billion times, you're going to be rich. Right? Someone's going to buy that. It costs you about $0.05 a piece to make. Selling it for $1. So you don't need to be technical to succeed online. I'm a geek. It gets in my way. All right? The more people who realize that fortunes are made with a yellow pad and a pencil in a coffee shop, the better. I will explain that in a little while. It's about people, not things. Larry's all about relationships. All this stuff doesn't really matter. There's always tools and engineers and mechanics who are willing to do it for you. And they'll work cheaper than you can sell it for. That is the secret. And everyone has the same number of minutes in a day. We've always heard that. But doggone it, I have to tell myself that every single day. Everyone's got the same number of minutes, whether you're a guy begging on the street corner or you're Donald Trump. So the game is leverage. And come on, little fella. There we go. Stay strategic, stop doing. It's the yellow pad and the pencil. I'm going to move on into some meat. Here's the first really, really important thing. It's distribution, the web. And I say the revolution already happened. So what do I mean by that? Okay, if you look at virtually every business, newspapers, magazines, books, radios, music, the stock market, advertising, retail, and travel, it all changed because of the web. Everything got disintermediated. The middleman isn't required anymore. He didn't add enough value to stay in the middle. And if there is a middleman, he's still there. Okay? Insurance salesman, for example. financial managers and brokers, they're still adding value. In some markets, not. It's easy to buy life insurance direct now. It's not necessary. But places where there needed to be efficiency, the web took care of it. So, and also, do you guys know about iTunes? It's the #1 music retailer in the world. Walmart was for a little while.